Yes, Pete.
I've spoken to somebody that's been 20 years in the business, and I brought it up a lot of times, the thickness of the pipe, and he even agreed today that it should be the best pipe. So why should, before it gets put in the ground, let's put the best pipe in if they want to get through Franklin or anywhere in New York State. We're all driving here. And we're all growing up families
That's a
here,
federal regulation, if I'm not mistaken.
but it has to be
Pete.
changed because FERC does whatever they want.
I don't think
So
it's
we have to
under,
go
I don't
through
think FERC
legislation
is
and
in
get it
control of
changed. I've
that.
been trying even to get Schumer on board, and he hasn't contacted me back. He's big on safety, you've been knowing that. About the trains and everything that go
But-
through to Albany.
Does FERC control the size of pipe, or is that a federal
Well, they have 4
regulation?
different grades.
Yeah, I've understood that.
And we've
But
been
who
to Delhi.
regulates that? Is that FERC, or is that another federal agency?
And we've been to Delhi, and you know that even the commissioner, Wayne Reynolds, didn't even know there was 4 different grades of pipe until I told him. And you were standing there on the other side. So this is what goes on. Some people are not aware of everything that's going on. We need the best pipe. Not, and the guy's been in the business for 20 years in Texas, and you know him, he speaks to you. I spoke with him today. He was on my road today.
Uh-huh.
He would want the best pipe. And I
Well,
always
and
said that.
I'm not in disagreement with you.
I want the
I don't
best one
understand why there's
to
4
protect
different
everyone
grades.
everywhere, not just here in
I'm
Franklin.
not disagreeing, but I think that's a federal regulation, not a FERC regulation.
But if we
I
have
think
to
it's
lobby-
somebody else's foot is in the door here for some reason. And I'm not sure, I've heard that one of the reasons is that in a village or hamlet, which they use a heavier pipe or where there's more traffic, there's more chance of, you know, movement, so the thicker pipe is safer. But I'm not sure why it's not as safe up on the hill as it is in a city or in a village. I agree, it should be the same size pipe for everything. I'm baffled as well as you are as why it isn't. It doesn't make any sense to me. Your life is worth as much as, 10 lives in the city.
And they're doing
You
that
know, and
because it's less resident.
different.
It should be the same law, because it's less resident, not because it's up on the
That's
hill.
fine, you're right. You're right, and I, being it's a federal regulation,
But
I
we-
believe, isn't it? I mean, that's what I understand.
But we also have to lobby in Washington to get it through, so that's the other thing. So
Well,
we
has
can
your,
petition and tell
has your
lobby-
senator
we have to
responded
lobby,
to
we
you?
have to go down.
So you haven't got a response from your senator yet on this issue, right?
I sent them more than one email, and he didn't respond back, and that's
Well,
true,
that's
but it's very big
Right.
on
He's
stuff.
usually normally, quite
Right.
aggressive on the safety factors. But I agree, the thickness of pipe should be uniform. Thick the better, the thicker the better, the safer the better. But that's a federal regulation that we probably don't have a lot of control of. But maybe through the senates and stuff like that, they could look into it, because they don't have control of these bureaus either, or divisions or whatever either, they've got to go through channels. And it's, it's something that, I agree, it's baffling why. Okay,
I also been getting the grassroots to push it.
pardon?
I also been getting the grassroots to push it.
Okay.
Kate Hudson and everybody else. So
Mhm.
I do
Okay,
talk to them
good.
and call them.
Good. Hey, Tom, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I wanted to follow some of the other speakers and applaud you for your interest in learning more about pipelines and compressor stations. I've seen you at the FERC hearings, DEC hearings, the open houses, and, I applaud you for gaining as much knowledge as you can. I haven't been to a couple of board meetings, so I'm not as current as I could be, but the last one I went to in Treadwell, you said something about assessment, which is something I'm involved in the town, and it didn't sound like it was coming from you. It sounded like something that you repeated, someone else told you, and that was the proposed assessment on this compressor station to be $18,000, and both pipelines
I never said
are 18 million.
I never said 18 million either, Tom. I did, the county head of the tax department in Delhi, he's at some of the committee meetings that I'm in, and he said the average figure should be about $200 a foot assessed value on the pipeline.
On the pipe.
On the pipeline.
And did they
And-
have an assessed on the compressor?
Well, not on, I'm just going by Hancock's compressor, which is a 16,000 horsepower unit, is assessed at 12.9. And I went to the IDA meeting back in January, before it ever got brought up at the town board meetings, you know, and said, how can you only assess it at 12.9? That's less than, it was a $40 million project, okay?
I
And
guess that's my question, is how? And
How?
we're in-
I don't
We're in
know.
the same situation. I've got a couple of articles here that I'd like to have everybody read,
Mhm.
you know, more black and white. But it's pertaining to that Berry compressor station and the one in Wright,
Right, yeah,
which they've done a pilot program on. And so I don't want us to be
well,
in the same boat.
right, but as I was talking, when I went to the IDA meeting, I told them that the town of Franklin would be against any pilot program in the town. Because I feel we have taxpayers, which you see the assessments through your position on the grievance board, you know, that if you build a $500,000 house, you're gonna be assessed at $300,000 to $350,000, probably. I'm
If
just.
if you agree with it, I think there's a process beyond that. I'm afraid the town would get caught in where we can say, we think it's worth this much.
Right.
They can say, we don't think it's worth this much, and we'll see
There
in
is, I
court.
mean, supposedly, through
And
the
this is
Hancock.
exactly what happened, you know, with the pilot is basically a giveaway, so that you
And
don't
it's-
have to go to court and run out, you know, legal expenses,
The
so.
IDA told me at that meeting, and Davenport supervisor was there also.
That-
And he agreed
Dennis is
100%.
quoted in
Dennis,
there in that
you
article.
know, that, you know, he's against any pilot program, which I am.
I agree.
You know, because, and then these corporations are going for these reductions on their assessments.
That's what
Which is
one of
another
the article
major-
is about, is the reduction.
Yep,
They go
yep.
and don't even grieve it, they just say they want the stipulation, and some of those, you know, that last sheet I gave you, number 4,
Mhm.
is the tax roll for Hancock.
Right,
The grievance board agreed on those assessment reductions.
right.
Now, I don't know why. I
On
haven't been
those
able to
houses, on those houses around the compressor station.
on those
I- I-
4
I
properties
read on
there.
those 4
One that's
properties.
actually got the compressor on it, and then 2 or 3 are
Okay.
adjacent to that, all of them within
Yeah.
1,000 feet of the compressor station.
Mhm.
So, you know, these went through the legal process.
Right,
I
right.
don't know how, I'm still trying to find out from their board why. Like you say,
I
why do
agree.
you build something for 40
They only
and
get
say it's
assessed
worth 12? So,
Right,
my concern is I want, you know, you to be careful in making any deals for the town or in
Well,
the name of the town.
it'll be brought out now. There's nothing, at least I'm not hiding anything. I'm sure the town board is hiding nothing. I mean, if I've spoken.
Eyes
down-
wide open, that's,
I
you
mean,
know,
that's,
that's
and
what
that's,
we have
I
to
mean,
be.
everybody should pay their fair share. That's
I
the
agree.
bottom line.
I don't want-
And if that compressor station, and I'm just going by Hancock, that one was a $40 million project, they're assessed at 12.9, which is dumb, I think.
Could that be us? I'm just saying, thank you
It
for your time.
probably could, I mean, I'm thinking the 30,000, if and when
30
it
million.
does come through, 30,000 horsepower
Oh, 3,000
compressor,
horsepower.
you know, it should be double the assessment at least of what the 16 is. I don't know, I have no figures on that. The only figure I got was what the county tax department guy said, the assessor, Mike. Yeah,
Well, there are a couple of instances where there is an existing compressor station and an existing reduction in assessment, so I just wanted you to look
well,
at
that's what, I
that.
know they agreed to a pilot program,
Yeah.
which is going from like 15% of tax value, or 16% of the taxes, 11,000 a year up to 66,000 after 15 years. So they're saving $500,000 on there. The Millennium Pipeline is saving $500,000 in taxes.
Yeah, these are 2 different pipelines, 2 different companies that we're dealing with here.
Yes, yes,
But
they
they
are.
don't have a great track record either.
No,
Williams.
I mean, none of them are. You know, there's not I mean, Williams has made it, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm not saying the compressor should be here, I'm not saying that. But I've told Tennessee or Northeast Energy Director, whatever, I said, you guys better be, the communication has got to be much improved in what Constitution. I have not talked to a Constitution representative unless I called them. And that has been just to John Faso, which was a PR man, And he says, oh, we can do this, we'll work on this, well, there's another kiss in the wind.
Well, this is dollars and cents, so.
And this is dollars and cents, and I
real
agree,
life.
this is a thing that's, we've never brought it up. The pipelines, or somebody did it, maybe the June meeting, the assessment on the pipeline. You could see $9 to $10 million in assessed value
Per pipeline.
per pipeline. That's just pipeline, that's not compressor. And that's I'm just figuring $200 a foot times 9 miles. So 9 miles of pipeline, do the figures. If it's between 9 and 10, it's gonna, okay, go ahead, Tom.
And that's just the corporation. We're not talking about any of the landowners or the
What they might
easements or
be-
the leases
Or they might be losing on it.
agreements, so
What will be reduced on the taxpayers.
a lot to
that are-
pay attention to.
Right, there's a lot, and we're not going to, the county has helped some, or a lot, it's been brought out up there some. So it's very interesting. At the county level, I really enjoy the committees, but I really enjoy talking to other supervisors after the meetings. Finding out how they do this, how they do that, learning process. I don't go up there and I know everything. I go up there and voice my opinion, but I don't know everything. And talking with other supervisors, how things get done, how they've done things, how they work with things, it's an educational factor, it still is. And the county is interesting, there's no doubt about it. And I'm just happy that they accept my opinion sometimes. Because I don't go along with the flow most of the time. Is that, Tom?
That's good.
That's good, okay. Somebody else, please? Okay, Mike, whoops,
Okay.
Liz.
Yes. Jeff, I was wondering if Constitution gets their permits that are needed to start construction. What alerts will be brought forward to the people in the town of Franklin as for like road safety or road blockage? Are there gonna be signs put up that there's workers ahead? Tree cutting, will there be any blasting? You said that is it John Faso is the Constitution rep?
Yeah, and now I don't know if he still does it now, because he's running for the congressional seat next time. But he was the person that I met with, and there was another one, that was another man with John, and I've called them, but, they don't come forward with anything. And this is what our attorney is running up against, and that's why we are gonna go down Friday, talk with the attorney, with, Delta, and get things ironed out, or just any questions that might be asked, answered. And, I really, and just to be honest with you, Cedarwood, that I had talked about possibly bringing them, asking them about it, see if they could do it. And Mike O'Reilly, which is the engineer that has done a lot of work for the town, nice young man. And we had 2 meetings set up, one with Mike at 10 and one with Delta at 11 for Friday. But Mike said he's read it over. He's not, he originally agreed to go down for the 10 o'clock meeting, so the questions would be asked him and stuff. But he said he would like to beg out on it unless there's concerns that we don't get answered from Delta. Then he'd be very interested in, talking some more. But he said, if you get satisfied with Delta, go for it. They seem to have more experience, but I'm not sure how much true experience with the road usage that we're talking about. I've talked to another contractor that has dealt with Delta, and it worked out. And I'm not sure what it pertained to, probably not road use. It was probably about buildings or something like that. But, we want to get this road use agreement anyway. The laws are an issue, I'm sorry. But, we are interested in getting something down. They haven't given us anything what roads they want to use. How can we, there's got to be signage. I can't believe there would not be signage where the heavy traffic roads are going to be.
Would that be Constitution Who would be responsible for the signage?
For signage,
Or would the town of Franklin?
I would, and you know, there again, it's my opinion, it would be Constitution in the road use agreement that they would have to do this.
You can pass a law that says that they have to do it.
You know, some of the safety, if you're driving up over a node, you see, boom, you know, road, you got these huge
Well, I
trucks coming
haven't
out of
heard
these side
any,
roads
I know
and.
Davenport has been the leader in this county, and they have not got a road use agreement. They've got, last I heard, they had 48 applications for permits, but I didn't know if they got any money for them yet. So paperwork, you know, it's easy to, the Constitution is doing nothing right now for some reason, for anybody. The county, they're not even talking to the county. And I don't know, you know, they're stalling, I agree. Where it's going to or from, I don't know, but I'm just saying, you know, we are looking, and it might be, after Friday's meeting, the lawyer might say, I do recommend an ordinance, or I do recommend a law. You know, we're going on the shirt tail of our legal representation. And right now, she's hedging now. Before it was, a good road use law is good, or road use agreement is all you need. And now she's got some second thoughts. So we may find out more on Friday.
Does Davenport have a law for that?
Yes, they do. They do have a law, they have a, I don't know if they've got any, you know, emissions law or anything like that, but they do have a road use law. They do, and as I said, last I heard it was 48 applications for permit applications at $1,000 apiece. But I had also heard they hadn't got any money yet. So applications and money are two different stories, you know.
You can't be issued a permit until you get paid the fee, right? So.
I would think so, yes.
Obviously, maybe those 48 aren't going to use the roads.
Well,
You know,
they haven't told them where they're gonna go either yet, for sure, so. I mean, everybody's in limbo, yes.
I was at that meeting in Fredwell when Delta gave the
Mhm.
presentation. And didn't he say that the companies were required to say the roads they were going to use, say the size trucks they were going to use, how many trucks they were going to use, that they had to give that information up front?
Up front, when they, yes, I believe it was, yes. So, I mean, it will be coming out, it's just, you know, the when factor.
Can they start without the road use agreement or the road use law?
They probably can't start without, they can't start probably if you have a road use law. Possibly, I don't know. I mean, you know, and the problem with this whole thing is, it may be a law, but to these companies, it's a federal project, I don't think you can stop them. They may pay a fine.
If you can find them.
Yep,
Or they can choose not to pay the fine when you fine them.
well.
How many dollars has Windsor paid with all the
fines?
fines that they've been assessed?
It's just a terrible area. I mean,
I should think their permits, their
They've been
final
fined
permits
every-
will be held up until they have road use agreements.
Yeah.
Windsor's
But
been
FERC
fined every
is
single
not- I
day
said,
since
why
it
ha-
started operation.
why haven't they done it? FERC
haven't
is the
paid
one that's
any.
got the controlling hand.
Yeah.
And they can say go or not go. We can't tell them they can't go. If FERC says okay, whether it's our road use agreement or road use law or road use ordinance, you know, they can come through and you can't stop them. You can fine them, but you can't stop them. Which is, I mean, FERC, if they're approving this pipeline to come through, wouldn't it make sense that they should make sure they deal with the municipalities fairly? But they're not, they don't have any control of that. They don't want it, which is wrong. That should be one of the stipulations, that they have got to bargain in good faith on agreements.
But their money, they get paid from the oil and gas companies. They're not paid by the municipalities.
Well,
Yeah, so they're biased. They can't be fair.
I don't know if it can't be fair. I know if I was at that FERC meeting, I wouldn't have waited to listen to all the people. Because most people beat on them mercilessly. And maybe they deserve it. I'm not saying they don't. Some of it is. But, you know, you get much more with sugar than you do salt. Okay, is that all right, Liz? I don't know if we answered
You're
it, I
saying
don't know
that
if we answered
they can
anything.
use all of our roads in the town of Franklin, they could shut a road down without having the permit and the road use agreement.
I
They
wouldn't
can
be
do that.
surprised. I don't, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't tell you, I don't know the law. But it's a federal program, and towns cannot stop these processes, I don't think, because it's federal.
Will there be a timetable provided by Constitution that says this road's gonna be closed on these certain dates?
I would think there should be, I
Alerts to
mean, I
the
would think so.
public saying, this is going on. Will there be
Well, there's-
blasting?
I don't know about, it depends on what they find when they start digging. I don't know.
I mean, I'm concerned about that, people's safety on these roads, and
Well,
who,
I
if
agree.
someone has an injury, who's gonna be liable? Town of
I agree,
Franklin?
and that's
or
where-
these large
and
gas
that's
companies?
where-
Buses going all over these
You know,
roads,
it's-
that school buses on the
I
roads.
think there must be laws controlling the signage that you have to put up, like state laws
They'd have to say
for
something.
state roads. You can't, there must be laws on the books saying that you have to do.
Now, what was the question again? Do you need signage on the construction, roads under construction? Because I'll ask the
Yeah, when
attorney.
if they're working on a
How's
certain
that?
road, it seems like there should be some alert,
Some warning that they're
saying, you
gonna
know,
be digging this road up
men,
on
women
whatever
working
day.
ahead.
It's a
I
standard
don't think they were
procedure.
gonna dig the roads up, I thought they were gonna bore under.
Cones, you know,
They're
tree
not gonna be
cutting,
in
they're
the road
gonna be
that much,
clearing
I don't think.
trees, blasting
I
ahead.
would
How are
think-
those alerts gonna come out?
I don't know how they are.
There's laws about blasting, any kind of blasting in New York State.
Signage for roads in the construction zone, is that what you'd like, is that basically the
You know,
question?
for myself, for the people of Franklin, if they
What is
could
that, is that the
please
question, Liz?
Yeah.
Signage and the
alerts.
signage and alerts for construction areas? Would that be a good way to, you know,
Any
to
work zone,
let the
whatever.
question to the lawyer?
Mhm. Certainly,
Would that be,
yeah.
okay.
I mean, I think for the safety of the people of Franklin, you know, when we were canvassing for petitions, people were wondering, how are they gonna stop traffic on that mountain? You know, you people going over Franklin Mountain, doing, 50, 60 miles an hour, and then boom, you know, you got a stop, how are they gonna alert? And are they gonna do the appropriate alerts for the safety of the people of town of Franklin passing through?
The town puts up signs before they do construction on the road, so.
We were
I think
really
the town
close to
does.
this,
Yeah.
this could be approved any
Okay.
day,
Another question.
close.
Hey, Mike,
All right.
second one.
Probably the only unique person that can talk about this, because I went through the grant program, and I saw an opportunity, I brought it up to Mayor Campbell, and being that we have a large crowd here, like I said, with the cell tower, maybe there'll be some interest. We lost out on a chance to have a senior citizen in Treadwell, mainly because of poor construction, heating costs. I think were the two big factors.
Maintenance.
Now we have the building that Dawn had occupied can't be sold. We have a
Can't,
pizza
or-
place that is closed.
Well, that's
That
gonna be,
can't be sold, but nobody's knocking at the door.
well, the pizza place is gonna reopen September 1st, I
Okay, good.
believe.
I gotta tell you right now, I'm completely full for some reason, okay? And I don't know how that happened. I do know how it happened, but we have all those closed. We have two buildings in the middle of town that was supposed to be in the grant and supposed to be fixed up, that were never touched, okay? And that is our future, what you see in the middle of that town,
Right.
if we don't do something moving forward here. Because I nearly went bankrupt trying to keep my building heated. The only thing that saved my ass, basically, was I had 5, 6 rentals. And when you have only one rental, you can't draw public, because either you take a position up, why, I'm anti-fracking, which I had spoken up. I said, I'm fracking. I was put in that position. So you have 3 people now that are for fracking. I'm fracking because I'm sick and tired of paying the Arabs $4 a gallon, all right? So I was put in that position, I was boycotted, okay, by a certain group, okay? But I still embrace that group, okay, because I was born, I had a good mother, but now I have to take care of my parents. We should do something for senior citizens in this town. I saw an opportunity, and I brought it up to Mr. Campbell, and I brought it up to the new mayor. You know, on our ground floor level rentals, we can turn them handicap, and we can keep our elderly in town. If there's a committee that wants to be formed, as Gene says, let's do a committee on, always these one issue things this town gets all riled up to. We have plenty of senior citizens in this room right now, and plenty to come. We could start that. I'd love to be part of it. I can't do it because I have to take care of my two parents. But we can do something in a lot of our rentals on the ground floor, and that would be something, you know, if we are getting extra money for whatever reason, or we're gonna get some cheap fuel for a change, we can help a lot of people. And all my renters, a lot of them are not from around here. And it's very encouraging to see nobody would, they tell me, what's this town about? And I say, nothing. I try to say nothing, and I say, don't get involved, just do your thing that you're here to do. You know, very creative people, all right? They're gonna be a big bonus. As you see, we have ice cream now, as of this weekend. And, you know, it is turning around, but I don't like the idea of seeing these empty buildings. It's not encouraging, you know? But
No,
I think,
you said there was two buildings on Main Street that
well,
were in this grant, but then it wasn't, they weren't
Wasn't gonna be
utilized.
open and Dawn, you're closing.
No, I'm
You're
not.
closing, oh, good,
No.
thank you.
Good job, John.
But, you know, but you have all those
I'm
good
not
clothes.
closing.
Your father's
Can I
clothes.
say something in response to what Mike is saying? When I moved here, all the buildings were open, all of them were busy, because people shop locally, and they bought their things locally, the way I still do. You have to do that, and then people will start businesses if they see that people are willing to do things locally. As soon as they put in I-88, everybody went to buy stuff from China in the mall, and that's what really boomed our economy.
Well, you're right.
Well, that is true, you just have to say, I'm gonna eat local food, I'm gonna drink local milk, I'm gonna buy local meat, and you know what?
Young people don't, yeah.
Well, I don't know many old people that care either.
No, I know.
People don't
It's
care about that.
unfortunate.
And the other thing is our cheap food policy, which is crazy. We want cheap food, it's the most important thing we have. And so all these people have to work very hard trying to make cheap food. And it's crazy. You know, you have to realize that you have to put your money where it's important for you to put it. Look at our farmers market. We get more out-of-towners coming in than local people. We've got all of our things there for the week. We don't have much money. Huh?
Who put the idea out there?
To do what?
The farms.
Oh, well, we did actually.
No, actually, I did it at a meeting and it was taken off, okay?
No, we started, frankly, when we started.
Okay, anybody else want to come to this meeting? Yes.
Can you use the gas directly out of the pipeline, or does it have to go through a, you know, a regulator?
It has to be
It's gotta be-
regulated because it's very high pressure in the pipe.
Well, I'm talking about the contaminants in.
No,
You
it's
can just
used-
use it?
Yes, it's usable quality.
Yes, yes. They say it's as pure as you can find.
It does have to be odorized.
Right, right. And that's added at the border, right, or something?
Well,
Or right
they
from
do it at
the,
the tap, at the metering station.
oh, okay. Yeah. You're fr- You're really pushing
I
it,
did
Mike.
get a petition, I was ready to sign it because I like two things on the petition. Then when I read through the other three parts,